So, some regions thrive while others fall behind. Some proposals get rejected while others secure millions in funding. How can you build the right consortium to get your proposal funded? All these questions are relevant. In this episode, we'll try to connect the dots. First, we'll look at the role of EU-funded projects with this pressing issue of development traps or regions stuck in development traps. Then we'll look at some new tools to help you build your proposal. We'll have a very interesting interview with Bilal Almobarak from Sweden, from SGN. And you'll find it interesting how this grassroots organization has been working for some time, and the great work they're doing, the results they get, the way they handle the EU-funded projects. I think it's one of the most interesting interviews we had so far. And we end with the analysis of an open call, fund call for decarbonization projects. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. See you soon. So you live in a slow growth region, right? No new jobs, the best young people leave, public services shrank, and something else is growing, frustration, resentment, extremism. Well, trust me, I know the feeling. That's development trap, and it's one of the most urgent challenges facing Europe today. Not just Europe, I guess the large parts of the world. So what is a development trap? It's when a region reaches a certain level of wealth and just gets stuck. It doesn't grow further. Infrastructure might be there, but the investment and especially jobs or better paying jobs, they're not. So people have potential, but no place to use it. These traps are really not abstract academic concepts. They're lived realities. They're also academic concepts which are very useful, but they are based in reality. And they tend to appear in places that once showed real promise. Regions that made early gains in the industrialization process or in the education of the population, but never made the leap to innovation economies or diversified industries. So what are the consequences of these development traps? Many. First, we should mention brain drain. Young people leave. First they leave to cities, then they leave to other countries, so they leave. Second, the interior gets empty. So local economies shrink and services vanishes because people leave the countryside to the cities and then the cities to abroad, mostly to other countries. Then there's the rise of extremism. These are the very regions where the far right has exploded in popularity in the past decades, because when people feel abandoned, they look for someone to blame. We all do that. We don't look for what can I do to solve this. We generally look for who is the guy responsible for this. It's human. So this results in polarized politics, political anger. People stop talking, or politicians stop talking about solutions. They start yelling at each other and sometimes throwing rocks. Yeah. So what started as an economic trap becomes a democratic risk. So let's be clear. This is the problem that needs to be solved as soon as possible. Development traps are not some theoretical thing. They're the biggest economic and political challenge Europe and much of the world faces right now. And this is not just about the economy, or some communities. It's actually about democracy and the future of mankind. What does any of these have to do with EU-funded Chronicles, you might ask? Well, actually a lot, because EU projects, when done right, are one of the most powerful tools to break these traps because they can bring investment to these regions, they can bring innovation, and most of all, they can bring opportunities, new jobs, new skills, new hope. In the end, new hope. Uh, but only if these projects are built for real impact. Only if they align with what regions actually need, not just what looks good on paper. Uh, so that's the good side of cohesion policy when it works, obviously. So this is why this issue is important for this podcast. We've had some interesting examples here in the past, and I hope to keep bringing new ones in the next episodes. So let's look for the next episodes. See you soon.
Let me ask you something. How much easier would EU project writing be if the perfect partners were already lined up? Ready to go? The right expertise, the right country, the right track record. A few weeks ago, I shared a free tool with you. Build your winning consortium with AI. It was simple, helpful, and gave you a taste of how artificial intelligence can support partner search. But today, I want to take you a big step further. I've just launched Build Consortium 2.0, a powerful GPT-based assistant that goes way beyond the original tool. Yes, you are right. Now that I've learned to build GPTs, I can't get enough of it. With this upgraded version, you can upload past PIFs from previous projects and let the tool learn from your experience and choose the best partners. Build a database of trusted, compatible partners. Search databases of past Erasmus Plus and Horizon projects to discover the best potential partners for your current proposal. Get real suggestions based on your specific call, sector, and eligibility needs. This isn't guesswork. It's strategy powered by AI. And once your consortium is ready, you'll need to show it clearly, visually, to the evaluators. That's why I also created a downloadable Excel partnership mapper. It's a simple tool that helps you plot the countries in your partnership wherever they are on planet Earth. Provide a visual of the geographical coverage of your partnership, exactly what evaluators look for. It turns your consortium into a story you can see. If you'd like to try these tools, the links are waiting for you in the episode notes. 3 tools. 1 purpose: to help you build stronger, smarter, and more fundable partnerships.
So good morning, everyone. Welcome to InnovEU, the EU-funded Chronicles. Thank you for being here. Today we have with us Bilal Almobarak from Sweden. He is representing SGN, the Support Group Network, and I believe it's an NGO in Sweden. Thank you for being here, Bilal. And please tell us a little bit about your organization and yourself.
Yes, thank you, Fernando, for this opportunity. My name is Bilal Almobarak, as you said, and I'm the Executive Director of Support Group Network. And in small words, we can say that Support Group Network, SGN, is a migrant-led organization that have started as an initiative 10 years ago in Sweden. And now we have a big organization that has expanded, and we are existing in many cities, in many regions, in Swedish context. And then we also do exist in Germany, and we have a new linked organization in the Netherlands. So the organization and the network is growing and getting bigger and bigger all the time. And this is something that maybe we can talk about more during the podcast.
Can you explain in a few words what's the main purpose of the organization?
Yes. Actually, the starting point and the trigger point that has initiated the whole thing was a demand of a reception of refugees and asylum seekers that respect human dignity and make people don't lose their vocational identity, their cultural identity. So we want people to be part of the society and to contribute with their ideas, with their experience, and at the same time preserve their good things and to be part and to put it on the table, on the Swedish table, so we can also make it as colorful as possible. So we wanted to empower people, and by empowering them, as I said, to make them be a good part of the new society and to contribute with what they can, what they have been doing all their lives, because everyone has something to add and to put and to contribute with, right? So this is the whole thing. So we started as an initiative in one of the biggest asylum camps in Sweden,
Mhm.
and we were about 1,000 or more than 1,000 inhabitants, people, asylum seekers living there at the same time. And back at the time, there was some kind of stuck in the system of reception of asylum seekers because too many people came once at the same time to Sweden, and the migration board was like in a shock of the huge amounts of people coming every single week. Sometimes it ended up 10,000 people each week. So that was not something that Sweden is familiar with. So the cases that the immigration board used to take to investigate and to get a decision in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, max 1 month, then it started to take 2 years. And this posed a lot of waiting time was some kind of a tough thing to be sitting in an isolated area. You don't know people, and then when it's isolated, it's far away from where other people's suites are living, and there is no maybe connections between the two areas. And then people left for rumors and such things happening. So people was some kind of desperated, and they had some signs of depression and feeling we are lost here in the nowhere because of the isolation of the place, obviously. So our idea was to not lose hope in the first instance, and then to show everyone that we as newcomers, as asylum seekers, even we are in a bad situation, we still have the power to do something together. We can organize ourselves. So we started as a self-organized group to make some activities for people who are living in the camp. So it's something from the people to the people themselves. So we started to organize ourselves in groups or clubs, you can say, women club, craftsman club, academics club, sportsman club, and so on and so on, children club, and so on. And by this way, we could mobilize the whole camp. And it was something quite strange and not common in a Swedish context that asylum seekers are self-organizing themselves and dealing with some kind of own activities and so on. So it was quite nice to be observed by other and larger organizations like the Red Cross and Save the Children and so on, and even the authorities. So they just said that this is something totally new, and they wanted this model to be preserved and to be inspired by others. So that's why we had our very first project was with Save the Children to copy paste this model of self-organization and empowerment to other asylum camps around Sweden. So suddenly, after only a couple of months, we were existing in 16 camps, doing the same thing, activities from the asylum seekers to asylum seekers. And I can give only one example because there are a lot of examples. We had, for example, we got some donations in form of sewing machines. So people who were sewing in their homelands, they were able, during their waiting time, they were able to serve and help people who need to sew their clothes for free.
Mhm.
So only one man served during 2016 more than 2,000 people to sew their clothes for free, because this is also one of the complicated things in Sweden to repair your clothes or to sew them. It's not available, and if it's available, it's very much costly. So this is only one example. And in 2016, the same year, we got a human rights award from the region where we live, region Västra Götaland. And in the same year, we have got another prize, which is Lifelong Learning Award on a European level. And we were chosen as one of the best practices on whole Europe, and we got the second place. So this gave us a lot of credit just to go forward and to make this not only as an initiative that might disappear at some point of time, but we want this to be more sustainable. So that's why we um, created the formal body of the organization, and we registered and got an organization number and opened a bank account, because this is also something interesting here to notice and noteworthy to say. When we got those prizes, especially the Human Rights Award prize, we got together with it 50,000 crowns, around 5,000 euros. But at the time we had no bank account to have it, and everything for 2 years we have been completely voluntarily working. So we didn't deal with money before, and that amount of money, even it's now symbolic, but it felt too much. How could we because we are fear of doing some mistakes that can um, you know so we were forced as well to register and to open a bank account so we can have the money, and then we can start using them in a proper way. So those are the driving forces, actually. So this is in a very short summary how we started. But then when people started to leave the camps, because people were not living there for forever, right? So people started to get either decisions to go to the next step in their lives in the hosting communities, or to go back to their countries. And this is one of the points that we have focused on. We wanted to empower people to have something, to put something in their new society, but at the same time, maybe to have something, because it doesn't matter if you are going to stay here or you are going back to your home country, then you have something that you can be proud of. You have maybe learned something that you couldn't before, or something like this. So then we started to work to expand also in cities, and to work with people who have got their residence permits, uh, because people then wanted to learn the language, people wanted to apply for family reunification, wanted to find some jobs, and it's a series of new duties and obligations and um requirements that the new life require, right? So we were this supporting part, this supporting organization, working directly with people on a grassroots level. So until the moment, we are a grassroots organization working with people in the community to do needs-based activities that are addressing the actual needs of people. So almost all our projects that we apply for, we reform them in a co-creational way. We don't think ourselves that we want to do this or that, and then we apply, and then we find it difficult to apply what we have applied for, because it's not interesting for the target group. But we always do it in a co-creational way. We make focus groups, and we explain the goal, for example, and how we think, our ideas, and we get the feedback, and we get sometimes when they say that what you are thinking about is totally worthless. So we change the whole narrative and start thinking again. So this is our approach now. We still work with empowerment, self-organization, and for this we also support newly organized groups. So all the time there are new self-organized groups are joining the network, the support group network. And we work with empowerment, as I said, self-organization, and need-based activities in a co-creational way.
No, it's been almost 10 years of activity.
Uh,
Sorry. What's been the role of EU-funded programs in these activities?
In fact, the EU funding was critical to continue and to thrive and to be bigger. In many local contexts, to secure national fundings at many points of time is not easy because of the difficulties, because of the changes of priorities for the different governments, the rise of the right wing, and so on and so on. So there is a total shift in many, not only in Swedish context, but I know also in other EU member states. So the EU funding and the different programs that we have been working with, for example, AMIF, Horizon, Erasmus, they were very much helpful in forming a solid ground for the organization to continue to serve the community and to serve the marginalized groups that we are working with. Because today we don't work only with asylum seekers, but we work with asylum seekers, with newcomers, with refugees, migrants, immigrants, everyone who is born outside Sweden, even second generation who are born in Sweden, but they have their roots and the roots of their parents outside Sweden. These are part of our target group. And this development would have never been achieved if we didn't secure those EU funding. So I can confirmly say that we are thankful for and grateful for the different EU programs that are available and that we are part of, because they made us in a position where we can still serve the community and support the community that is in many times would have been forgotten because of language difficulties, because of cultural difficulties, because of other difficulties.
And how has that experience been? Your experience with the EU funded programs? Do you find it hard? Too much competition? Too much bureaucracy? What's your experience?
Well, it's the spontaneous reaction. It's not easy. Everyone knows it's not easy, and it is a lot of competition. This is reality, and we need to be aware of it. And we ourselves tried to submit and lead many applications, but it was always high competition, and we were losing for tiny marks or results here or there. So instead, we have invested because we don't have resources that only can sit and focus on writing, observing the different goals, and just write. Because the same people who are working and serving the community, they are the same people who are applying for those. So we don't have this privilege of having people only focusing on EU goals. So instead of ourselves investing in this, we said that we want to join and support other proposals, other consortiums. So we would be this part of the consortium that is applying the idea of the project or the proposal in a Swedish context. So we can contribute with writing our own section of the application when it comes to local context, the need analysis, and the suggested ideas, but not the whole thing because we don't have the capacity. So this is how it works right now. We are active because this is something manageable. You can still work and find search and find some partners. So this is our approach now until maybe we get also bigger, we get more, we secure more funding to have people who are working only with goals, because this is it feels bureaucratic and so much administrative, but at the same time I feel it is very important, because if you want to reach out to more people, then you need to secure more funds, and this means that you have some people who are working actively on this, addressing new goals, because there are also new goals are around all the time, both on EU level but also on an international level. So It is.
Do
It
you
is.
apply
It,
for programs, non-EU programs, international programs? I don't know, United Nations or anything?
Once we got funding from Open Society Foundation. I don't know if you know
No.
this foundation. It is a foundation that I guess it's an American foundation that they have a branch in Europe, and they back into 2020, I guess it was under COVID or before pre-COVID. They were interested in supporting organizations and associations working with marginalized groups, and we secured some kind of funding for one of our first intercultural centers in Sweden. But then they have changed their priority to work on third countries and with third country nationals in their home countries. So now they are focusing more on Africa and
Mm,
Asia, and Middle East, and
okay.
so on. So the major thing today is the European funds.
Okay. You mentioned it slightly, but please tell us a little bit about your vision for the future. How do you see the organization evolving in the near future?
Actually, we are in a position now where, as I said, we have branches in Germany and the Netherlands. And after the freedom of Syria, a lot of members from Syrian background, they are willing to start up a similar initiative in Syria, and they want to call it Support Group Network Syria.
Mm,
And this is very encouraging. This is very promising because now you have a country without a dictator. We have a world with less dictator, or one dictator less, and we have a good opportunity to work with local communities. And there are a lot of good opportunities and possibilities to work with the Syrians to build the democratical pathways, to build capacity for people, to support people who were victims of detains and prisons and bombs and all those torture events and so on. So there are good possibilities, but this is a tiny part of the vision. The whole vision is to represent and work with refugees and marginalized groups all over the world. So we have a worldwide vision. We want to be presented in all countries. That's why we are in our network now. We have almost volunteers and participants from all countries that have some kind of crisis or problems, and they have refugees or migrants. And we have also a diversity and a diverse personnel as well, because if you want to work with these people, then they need to be represented in your staff. So these are two components that are very important to achieve our vision. Having said that, however, it is also once again back to the resources and to the funding, because you have a moral obligation to support those local associations that will be part of your network, right? And at the moment, we don't have this capacity, so we can still support them with trainings, with guidance, with tips and tricks how to seek fund. We can also invite them to join our proposals, for example, but we are still not able to directly support them in that way. So this is, in short, our vision.
mm. Okay, thank you very much for this interview. Would you like to end with some final message?
Yes, of course. As a final message, I would like to open the door for everyone who cares about human rights and increased participation, and who cares about European societies to to um, to extend a hand to work together to change the narrative, because the narrative that we have today is unfortunately not good. It's harmful. and it doesn't help European societies to thrive or to go further in developmental process, but exactly the opposite, unfortunately. And we are part now of these European societies. So we would like to see that people tolerate each other in a better way. People have the ability to not only respect but to work together, because if we need to continue, and if we need our societies to thrive and to develop, and that we have important resources for next and coming generations, we need to be able to respect and work together. Otherwise, it will be difficult times for us and for the coming generations.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think this was the most international organization that have was in this podcast. Thank you for this interview, and I totally second your message for the future. We really need to find a way to fight the current narrative, because it will not take us anywhere, any good place.
Yeah.
But well, let's keep working there. That's the
Yes,
idea.
yes.
So thank you very much,
Thank you,
Bilal,
Fernando.
and see you soon.
Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.
Is your breakthrough climate tech ready for its first real test? The Innovation Fund 2024 Pilot Projects Call is your chance to bring disruptive decarbonization technologies to life through funded demonstration projects designed to validate and scale Europe's net zero future. This call is all about bold innovation. We're talking advanced energy storage, renewable energy breakthroughs, carbon capture, utilization, and storage, and pilot installations that pave the way to climate neutrality by 2050. The EU is allocating $200 million to support these pilot projects, with up to $40 million per project, covering 60% of your eligible costs. The deadline to apply is 24 April 2025 at 17 hours CET. To be eligible, your organization must be a legal entity, public or private, be based in the EU or EEA, submit a project that hasn't yet reached financial close, and demonstrate deep decarbonization potential and innovation. You can apply solo or with a consortium. Either way, your idea must prove it can move the needle on Europe's green transformation. Proposals will be evaluated on degree of innovation, emissions reduction potential, project maturity, replicability across sectors and regions, and cost efficiency. This is not just a funding call, it's a call to action for technology leaders, bold innovators, and solution builders who want to prove what's possible. Ready to apply? Visit the EU Funding and Tenders portal for full details and templates. And if your project doesn't make the final cut, you might still receive project development assistance through the European Investment Bank. Let's test what works. Let's build what's next. This is your opportunity to pilot the future of decarbonization in Europe.
InnovEU, the EU Project Chronicles, is a weekly video podcast. Please subscribe to Polixoc's newsletter to receive every podcast episode. And if you like receiving it, please press like in whatever platform you are watching or listening. Also, please share InnovEU and Polixoc with anyone you feel will enjoy it. Credits: author and host Fernando C. Gaspar, music Hugo Gaspar, Lisbon, Portugal, 2024. Reach us by email or DM.